get things going here in a minute. I apologize for my stuffiness. The allergy season right now, it's killing. So I get really congested and stuff in the morning. So yeah. All right. So again, welcome to the stream. Basically, what I want to try to start doing in the morning is just, I don't know, for right now we'll call it Coffee Talk with Chuck. But basically, just get in here. I'm gonna read out some, inspiring or positive news stories because the world is full of just negativity right now and it kind of sucks. So I'll try to bring you something happy or a story to tell your friends about. And then yeah, if there's anything you guys want to talk about, or chat, or do while we're on here, then please, you're welcome to contribute. So just hit me up in the chat, and we'll go ahead and get started. So the first story I've got is written by a Lysel Ulrich Verderber. Apologize if I screwed up your name. Lysel, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. So anyway, it's a conservation success, how out-of-the-box thinking saved an adorable fox. I am on everwideningscircles.com. It's got a thing where you just hit surprise me and then it reads off a story. So we'll go from there. So finally, a tale of great hope for the future of endangered species on our planet. The answers we need to solve the world's biggest problems may come from thinking past the obvious. Here's how World War II, eagles and pigs have everything to do with the disappearance of a fox off the coast of California and how we've brought them back. So off the coast of California on the Channel Islands, a species of tiny docile foxes called island foxes live their lives hunting mice and insects. They are unique to these islands and have called them home for thousands of years, until a few decades ago when they nearly went extinct. With their numbers dwindling dangerously, biologists and scientists intervened, but first they had to figure out why the foxes were disappearing. And the answer wasn't as straightforward as people would believe. Saving an endangered species isn't a simple process. Oh God, ad. That's the only downside to this stuff. Okay. My bad. Saving an endangered species isn't a simple process. It isn't just starting a breeding program to bring their numbers up or defend against the loss of their habitats. There's a whole complex web of cause and effect, and if we want them to survive, we need to look at all the pieces. So we're going to skip down here to the good part. So how did they manage to do it? Oh, it's a YouTube video. Never mind. Screwed that one up. Sorry, guys. Let's find another one. Let's see if we can get... Watch these all be YouTube videos. But yeah, guys, if you're watching, hit me up in the chat. Let me know what you'd like to talk about. If there's something new or inspiring or anything like that that's going on in your life, something exciting you want to talk about, or you're looking forward to. But yeah, let's just have fun and have coffee together in the morning. What's this? The artist who brought the world joy one egg at a time. Yeah, I'm good on that one. Okay, this is one I can get behind. Hang on, let me make sure it's not a video. Okay, so the case for taking more naps. How do we avoid burnout and the stress that comes with a full schedule? Well, it may come down to weeding out a few extra pieces and adding in a whole lot more naps. Okay, so far so good. I can get behind this. This fantastic creator gives us the tips we need to bring some simplicity and calm back into our lives when things get busy. So, when life gets busy, as it inevitably does, how do we keep our sanity? While our calendars fill up with plans and responsibilities, sacrifices are bound to happen, whether they be to our sleep, friendships, or our mental health, or all of the above, to be honest, to fit in everything. So, how do we do what we love to do without sacrificing what we need to make sure we do it well? The Very Wise organization, The School of Life, gives us a few tips on how to simplify our lives and get the most out of every single day. Remarkable things can happen just by trimming out a few extraneous bits and pieces. All right, let's see what they got. So, tip one, more sleep. Perhaps the most important yet most elusive of the suggestions. Depending on your schedule, the number of jobs you work, or your physical ability to even do so, sleep can be hard to come by. But putting this activity closer to the top of your to do list will do wonders. Check out one of our recent articles, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. It says curate your media. So we're big fans of this one, as this tip is a part of our mission. The amount of news we run into every day from around the world is overwhelming. It distracts us from our day-to-day lives and tends to make us feel defeated, incapable of making a difference. I can understand that one. But there are ways to take in the news without it taking over your day. Channels like CNN and Vox, for example, are beginning to send out daily emails of curated news in short format so you can stay up to date and live your life. All right, so basically just hit the highlights. Curate your friends. This one may initially feel messy, but oh, does it do wonders of good. Thinking about the people that you spend your life with. What are they bringing to your life? Are they lifting you up, or are they bringing you down? Are you overwhelmed by the number of people you feel like you have to see? Well, who do you really want to be with? Thinking about the impact someone has on your life will help you curate a group of people that help you ease your hectic life instead of add to the mess. Yeah, having toxic people in your life can really really play an impact on your role. So again, you're in control of your life, so you do what you're gonna do. Manage your expectations. So oof. Now this one is tricky. We all have expectations on ourselves, other experiences, and so on. They're inevitable, but they can put a lot of pressure on a pleasant situation. We need to consider what it is we want from our life. Take going on a trip, for example. When we head out with a million plans and a full schedule, we don't leave room for goofs. Cancel flights, jet lag, and low energy moods can make accomplishing all that's on the list impossible and take the delight right out of it. But if we go into it with limited expectations, when we put a few fun activities on the list, space them out, and leave room for the unexpected, we also leave room for a little more ease. Why did we want to go on this trip to begin with? To have a hectic time and relax, or explore somewhere new? I'm guilty of that one. I tend to be a planner, and so I don't leave a lot of room for contingencies as far as just being tired and stuff, because you don't ever want to just sit around and not do anything. But to their point, sometimes it's good to just have a little bit of lag time in there, so if something changes or you just don't feel up to it, you got a contingency plan. All right, let's see. Last one. Or actually, hang on. Next to last one. So, sift through your thoughts. Take a little time to sort through what's coursing through your brain before you head to bed. Personally, the bulk of my anxiety comes from the overwhelm that occurs from the constant playlist of thoughts swirling in my mind. Spending a few moments with pen and paper can help you get those thoughts out of your brain and give it a home somewhere else. Seeing them all laid out on a piece of paper puts everything in perspective and frees a little space for relaxation. See, that would work for them. For me, that's the exact opposite. If I can see, I would, it's see a problem, fix a problem. So if I wrote all of mine out, and yeah, that gives me anxiety just think about it. All right, last one. Welcoming more simplicity. So we often hold ourselves to a standard of being busy all the time. Somehow we've made filling our idle time a sign of success, to my point. As if our full schedule means we're doing really, really well. But what's so great about having no time for yourself? Making sure you have a few hours to do what you enjoy can impact the rest of whatever you do. Whether you want to spend this time tucked into the couch with a favorite show, reading, meditating, or working on a creative project, bringing more simplicity to your life helps you recharge for what's important. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. You know, again, we spend so much time filling our day, and trying to make sure you're occupied all the time. And a lot of it, you get pressure from work too, especially if you're working from home right now with COVID and stuff, is that you typically feel the need and the pressure to work even harder to justify not being physically present. Sometimes that's just, you end up making say you typically, you take a normal like 30 minute to an hour lunch. Now you're working through lunch. Your work day typically is like 8 to 5 or whatever it is. Now you're answering emails and you're doing calls and stuff, way after normal working hours. And, a lot of stuff is give an inch, take a mile. So you start doing that, and then they start asking for more. And then the next thing you know, you've lost who the heck you are and what you do, and there's no work-life balance. And, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Basically, work-life balance is so skewed, and everybody and their mother goes out there and they say, oh, you gotta have good work-life balance, that way you'll be happy and things don't overwhelm you, blah blah blah. But ultimately the reality is that the way we've set things up now, there isn't work-life balance, especially if you work from home or something like that, because you just spend more and more time blending the two, and so like I said, you're working through lunches, you're answering phone calls and emails off the clock. Even if you don't work like a office job, you're doing stuff outside the norm. And so then people just can't seem to understand why they can't seem to break free, and they can't ever get time that's outside of work. They always feel like they're trapped. And honestly, I think it's just because they've blended so much together that there really isn't a difference. So what's the answer? I don't know. I'll tell you if I find out. But again, having some semblance of, hey, this is work and this is my time, or this is your family time or something like that, I think is that's at least on my goal list of things I want to try to accomplish. All right, hidden planets in everyday world. Yeah, no, not interesting. Salween River. Yeah, no, don't care. Yeah, anybody, who else out there? Anybody? Let's see. Yeah, if you're out there, just, leave a comment. Let's talk about something. What do you want to talk about? I'm going to switch over to, let's go to Good News Network and see what we got. Here's a completely unpolitical, well, I hope completely unpolitical news story. So, 2 beluga whales are free for the first time since 2011 with a new life on the Icelandic coast. If you ever watch Free Willy, here you go. This goes out to you, Free Willy fans. So, captive belugas were given the chance of a better life when they were relocated from China to sanctuary in Iceland. 11-year-olds known as Little Gray and Little White. Yeah, they worked real hard on those names, didn't they? I had spent 7 years performing for audience at Changfeng Ocean World in Shanghai. But in 2019, thanks to the British charity Sea Life Trust, they were freed and transported 6,000 miles around the world, 30 hours by air, land, and sea to reach the world's first retirement home for oceanic animal performers. So question, how the hell do you fly a 2 beluga whale? I mean, do you just stick them in the back of like a C-130 in a tank, like a water tank, and then I guess that's how you have to do it, right? If anybody knows or anybody has any enlightenment on how you ship two beluga whales by air, let me know. Obviously, FedEx is making their money on that one. Let's see. Over the past year, the female pair has been cared for inside specialized pools in Jaime Island. I butchered that probably. Now they've made another big transition. On August 8th, Little Gray and Little White were moved to the open water section of the Beluga Sanctuary in Kletsvik Bay. Again, I apologize to all the Icelandic people if you're watching. Help me learn how to pronounce this stuff. It's the first time in 11 years that the belugas have swum in the ocean. Kathy Williamson, who runs the In Captivity program at Whale and Dolphin Conservation, told China Daily the world's first whale sanctuary represents a pathway to the end of keeping of whales and dolphins confined for entertainment. We're proud to be a partner of this important project that will improve welfare for these belugas and show the world that there is an alternative to whale and dolphin in captivity. The bay itself is blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So they saved some two beluga whales, shipped on FedEx. No info on if it was overnight or 2-day shipping. I don't know. Can you imagine? Let's think about that. Can you imagine the shipping cost of shipping two beluga whales? Even if even the cheapest option would be insane. So yeah, that's pretty wild. Anyway, all right, let's find another story. Or again, if you're watching or you're in the chat, say hey, let me know something you want to talk about. Again, this is just coffee talk right now. We're gonna try to grow it. Honestly, if you want to give me topics in advance and things like that, we can do that too. But ultimately, it's just a chance to chat, go over some stuff. If you want to know some stuff about me, I can do that. If you've got anything exciting coming up or anything you're looking forward to, yeah, let me know because I'd love to chat with you. Definitely try to use this platform, not just for Twitch and everything, but really to build a community. Band together. I know there's a lot of people I've been meeting lately in England, and I think a few from Australia and New Zealand and stuff like that. So yeah, we could do Q&A on that. We could ask each other questions. I'm in the U.S. I'm on the East Coast, and even though I don't feel like I have an accent, I think I probably have some kind of like a Southern Tennessee accent, which isn't as strong as some people. I can tell you that right now. But yeah, let me know. So anyway, let me find another story that we can read. Here's one. Okay. This is interesting, and it might be a little controversial to some people watching. I don't know, maybe. So Mackenzie Scott, if you don't know who that is Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, has given $1.7 billion to nonprofits since her divorce. So who hasn't daydreamed? Here's the article. So who hasn't daydreamed about what they do with the money if they came into billions of dollars? A month after her divorce from the wealthiest man on the planet, Mackenzie Scott signed the... Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. How you doing this morning? So a month after her divorce from the wealthiest man on the planet, Mackenzie Scott signed the Giving Pledge, quote unquote, and promised to give away her billions until the safe is empty. That's kind of ominous, don't you think? A year on, she has revealed how she's been acting on that declaration. So when Scott officially split from the Amazon founder and CEO Jeff Bezos in April 2019, ending a 25-year marriage, she received $38 billion as part of the settlement. Per Bloomberg's latest estimate, her net worth now stands at $60.8 billion. Good Lord. That's a chunk of change, guys. But yeah, so on July 28th, she revealed in a blog post on the Medium just what she's been doing with some of her billions. No, you're good, dude. Definitely. Thanks for tuning in to Hefe. I appreciate it, definitely. Again, you know, this streaming thing is a struggle sometimes because you try to get on at the time when everybody's going to watch, but you know, if people are in like England or the UK or anywhere like that, you guys are all like 8 to 10 hours difference, and then everybody else in the US is streaming at the same time at night. So then it's like, how do you get your stream going without and get people to watch? So I figured I'd do coffee talk in the morning here. So if anybody's awake and doing stuff, we can chat, talk about the night before or whatever, and then I can hop on your guys' channels. But yeah, I really just want to try to build a community and chat and stuff like that. So if there's anything you got going on or any exciting stuff you want to talk about, right now I'm just kind of going and reading the Good News Network, try to get some good news out there because the news, God, man, you get hit from every angle these days about just negativity, and everybody's got COVID and we're all dying, and everything sucks. So trying to get out there and find some of the happier side of life news stories and some stuff that can spawn some conversation. So yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in from work. Yeah, streaming, I'm telling you, streaming, I am brand new on the scene with this, and it's interesting because you try to do everything that you can and try to get people to kind of tune in and stuff like that. But I think the biggest thing that I've noticed, there's like three different ways to go about it. So there's the get on Twitter and get a million people follow you, but nobody will view you. There's the spend the time to try to get people to communicate, build a community and work together. And so that's kind of the route that I'm trying to go. And then there's also like the Discord groups where they get on there and they all kind of like, there was one, what is it, Ninja Monkey Discord that I jumped on. And so they'll actually go out and like raid your stuff. And so if you get in there and you start working with them, it's like Ninja, hang on, let me look it up in case you guys aren't on it. Where's it at? So yeah, it is Ninja Monkey Streamer Support. So if you're not on there, go find their Discord. And so if you join them and you go on some of the raids, so literally they'll like say, hey, we're doing a raid, and then you hop on their stuff, and then you basically just go raid several different channels. And so they kind of go round robin with it, and they might get it. You might get raided and stuff like that too. But again, I'm starting to figure out that the key to this kind of stuff is really building the community and interacting and supporting each other as streamers and stuff. And so we kind of grow together, and when you have time, you tune into each other's stuff and things like that. So I don't think you're going to be successful at this if you try to go at it solo. I mean, mind you, there are people out there who are just super awesome and they're able to pull this stuff off. Yeah. The promotion game is tough. And then, the other thing about the promotion game too is people start coming out of the woodwork with all kinds of crazy stuff. And so trying to sell you stuff, or like, hey, I can guarantee you this and that. So you got to be real careful too. But ultimately, I think it's fun if all of us can turn something that we have a passion for and something we enjoy into something that, subsidizes your income. Or, obviously we're all trying to live the dream and do this for a living to where we don't have to work regular jobs and we can work awesome, fun-filled jobs for the rest of our lives. So yeah, but again, for now, my thing is I'm just going to try to have fun with it. Definitely meet some really cool people. And I appreciate all of you guys hopping on the channel and chatting and stuff. And I'll definitely make a chance to, or I'll try to hop on your guys' channels too. But yeah, it really would be, it'd be great that we're all rich and we can be, we'll be neighbors in Beverly Hills, California somewhere in our mansions with our Ferraris and stuff like that. We'll start having those rich people problem. But yeah, until then, we can just have fun, chat, and support each other as much as we can. So again, I'll be hopping on your guys. I think I've hopped on both of you guys' channels at least a little bit, but I'll try to do what I can. But yeah, what have you guys got going on? You guys got anything interesting going on today, or anything new coming up? I can tell you, I tried to stream Subnautica last night. If you haven't played it, it's like this. It's kind of like a survival game, but with water and a bunch of different things. I won't spoil it, but aliens. Yeah, I forgot how much of a grind it is. It's kind of like Skyrim or something like that, where you get in there and there's just so much you have to do before the game gets fun or interesting. And so I'm sitting there, I'm streaming, I'm like, crap, I forgot all of this. And so, not sure if I'm going to keep doing that one, because I think in order to get people to actually watch and enjoy it, you got to kind of keep, you could have something entertaining. And watching me swim around trying to pick up rocks is not very entertaining. But we'll see. All right, hang on. Let's go back to this. Okay, let's see what's up with Jeff Bezos' ex-wife. So her net worth is $60.8 billion. Yeah, I would love to have that problem. So last fall, she asked a team of nonprofit advisors with key representation from historically marginalized race, gender, and sexual identity groups to help me find and assess organizations that are having a major impact on a variety of causes. Yeah, somebody definitely wrote that for her. Since then, 116 organizations around the world have received $1.7 billion in donations from Scott. Here's my thing. Yeah, that's a good idea, Hefe. I think once I get the grind going and I get to the point where it's, I've got decent everything, kind of like Skyrim or any of the other survival games. Once you knock out the grinding portion, I think the actual playtime should be the stream. But yeah, I made a big mistake last night and I didn't realize it. I hadn't played that game in so long I forgot about it. And I was like, oh crap. Like, I'm not kidding. When you land, you like crash land and then you have nothing. So you gotta like build crap. So you're out there like picking up rock. It's kind of like Ark. If you've ever played Ark, you just start that game with absolutely nothing. And in order to get it to where it's fun and interesting, you have to spend like 3 days of picking up rocks and cutting down trees and crap in order to get it. So very slow. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot. Survival games in general have just a slow build up. They're fun, right? They're really, really fun, and I really like games where you can kind of learn like blueprints, and you can build stuff, and you can modify things, and whatever. I'm a sucker for those kind of things, but you always remember the good times. You don't remember the times of like, oh, I spent 4 hours in Ark picking up rocks and trees. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, when you really think about how much time and effort, because you don't remember that part at all. You don't remember the rocks and the trees, or you're trying to build like your first rifle and you have to go mine. And I'm using Ark as a primary example because that's like the number one game where you just spend so much time grinding, is mining for rocks and trying to get metal, and then you gotta sit there and do all the stuff with the metal to get the metal ingots and all that other stuff. And similar to Skyrim, or primary example of grinding, and it's a nut roll, is you get into Skyrim and you're starting a new character and you want to get to armor level 100, right? Okay, there's a million different ways to do it, and there's 10,000 different videos on how to do it, but literally you go on there and like my way is always make the iron daggers. So you got to get leather and you got to get iron ingot, and then you just sit there and you grind for like 3 real world days until you start leveling up to get to level 100 armor, so you can get the dragon stuff or the dragon swords or whatever. Because up until that point, you're basically just a sitting duck. Like, anything can kill you from anywhere. But then you're the boss once you get all that stuff. But dude, it's like real world days. And so you start doing it and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. No problem. It's great. I'm going to be so, it's going to be quick. And then it starts to set in, and then a little bit of dread. And you're like, I've been at this for like 3 straight hours and I've gone up like 4 levels. So yeah, yeah. The survival grind is real. It sucks. And then, then you enter into the dark side of like, well, do I use a cheat code? Like, is this a game that I can use a cheat code? And two, once I go down that dark path, what do I keep doing? Ark, for example, I play on console. I don't play on PC, but if you play on console, you can do console commands and start cheating and saying you can spawn dinosaurs and you can spawn all the gear or whatever. And so it's a dark road, because at first you're like, okay, I'm just gonna use these codes to like get a gun, and that's it. Next thing you know, you're spawning like giga dinosaurs, and you've got like a fleet of 17 of them and stuff like that. Yeah, once you go to the dark, it's that, and it's a gateway. Console commands are a gateway drug, and then the next thing you've got 17 gigas that you're dropping into a boss fight, and you've got all this other stuff too. So yeah, it's a dark road. But the other side of that though is too, if you're just doing it to have some fun real fast, an argument can be made, hey, spawn it all, man. Yeah, I mean, there's so many games out there. I'll tell you another one. I'm going to try to stream Fallout 4 tonight and see how that does. But, oh my God, there's so many things that you can do with Fallout 4 now, especially with all the different mods and stuff. And so, going in and playing that game without even one mod, I mean, because it starts out simple, like, hey, I just want to have, better guns, or I just want explosive, something dumb, right? Next thing you know, you're like, Liberty. Yeah. Fallout 4 can be crazy. I mean, there's so many things you can do. You can be Liberty Prime. You can, I mean, that and Skyrim have like two of the massive modding communities. You can do, if you can think of it, somebody's probably made a mod for it. And so you can make it to where you are just like a god. You just walk around and you can just murder everything, and you can win the game in about 5 seconds. And so, again, a lot of it just boils down to, what are you trying to do? Like, are you trying to beat the game off of your own skill, and are you trying to be a good gamer, or are you just trying to have a fun, blast it all session, whatever. But I'll tell you what really frustrates me, though, honestly, is, and I'm all about the modding community. I think it's cool and it's fun. You can change up games and stuff, but truly, it's games where it's an online component, like Call of Duty Warzone or any of the other ones, Apex Legends or any of that stuff. When people start using mods in there and they start cheating, especially like Warzone, for instance, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, okay, you're hacking, you've got aimbot and all this other stuff. You're not in a tournament. You're just out there playing around. So what's the point? Like, really, what is the point? You just want to run around and say, yay, I killed everybody in the match with a cheat code. For what? Like, what are you getting out of it? Bragging rights? Yay, you bragged. You downloaded a bot that does the exact thing that, you wanted it to do. Yeah, I'll tell you, I have almost pulled all of my hair out on multiple occasions playing Warzone, and honestly the multiplayer too, because you'll be sitting there and you're like in a building inside a bunker, no one around, and all of a sudden you get one-shotted, and it's just, you're like, where did that even come from? Lo and behold, it's some dude on the far side of the map with like an aimbot something or another, and he, or they're going underneath the map and all the other crazy stuff. But yeah, I could spend all day talking about Warzone, but it is just that concept though, that you're taking a game where, I understand it's challenging. It's hard. I mean, Warzone is not easy, even if you don't have the hackers in, it's just, but you don't grow in skill and you don't get better at it by just cheating, and then ultimately it ruins the entire game for everybody else. And so I think, honestly, if Activision doesn't step up and start doing something pretty soon, people are just gonna say the hell with it. I mean, you can only take so many times of getting shot from across the map, one shotted, and then you're done. Yeah, I mean, Last Man Standing. It's a cool concept. It's a lot of fun. It really can be. And again, it's just adapt and survive. And there's so many games that play that. You've got what is it? Escape from season 4. Saw two cheaters playing duos in quad lobby. Yeah, yeah. There's more and more of it. I mean, it's gotten so mainstream. There's basically just a. I mean, people are just buying aimbots and like the whatever the little hack is where it shows the stick figure guy everywhere so you can see through walls, wall hack or whatever you call it. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been playing a game like that, and you're somewhere where no one could know where you are, and you run around a corner, and the guy is just like ready for you. He knows exactly where you are, and you know for a fact that that dude's cheating because he's got the thing on. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's just so much stuff, and then here, this is the hilarious thing though. Somebody takes that, and there's so many guys out there doing that kind of stuff, and they'll clip it, and they'll put it up on like Twitch, or they'll put it on YouTube, or they'll put it on like greatest sniping streams ever, stuff like that. I'm like, dude, you're using, like, I can see you using the aimbot, and I can see you're using a wall hack, man. You're just hiding it. Like, you're not fooling anyone. You're not amazing. Getting 50 plus kills in a Warzone match, unless you're like the top ranked dude on the planet, and even that dude is not gonna be making that. So yeah. I remember, I mean, years ago it was always the 360 no scope ridiculousness, and so now it's just like grown and gotten. It's insane, like it's gotten bad. So I don't know. The thing that throws me off about it too, and I just don't understand, is like why has I mean, I guess it's that argument of any press is good press, right? Because you got to think about it. You've got Warzone, and you got people tuning in and doing stuff with that, and they're cheating, and everybody's crying, hey, there's cheaters, I hate it, blah, blah, blah. But it technically, every time you say the word Warzone, they're getting promotion, right? So part of me is like, they really don't care. Like, honestly, they like it because it keeps them relevant, right? And then all they got to do is every patch, and you've seen it on the patch notes and all that stuff, is that they come out and they go, oh, we nerfed this gun, or we made this, we heard you, community, we're going to do this. And so everybody's like, oh, okay, well, it's not really what I wanted, but it's a start. Well, they've been it's a starting for like since the launch, so I don't know. I think that's a huge frustration. I still enjoy the game. Am I still going to play it? Probably. But I think what makes it's just insult to injury when somebody cheats and there's so many people, and it's just commonplace accepting that it's okay to cheat, and then they put it up on some social media platform and people just are like, wow, amazing gamer, yay, blah. I'm like, no, you're not an amazing gamer. You're not a gamer at all. You're just a person that got a software, basically a robot, to play for you. Congratulations. It's like the old school when you were a kid and you were playing like chess on your old computer or something, and you just set it on like super easy to where, you could just be an idiot and win. So again, there's just so many games like that. And I remember, I'm thinking like Mario, Nintendo, original Nintendo, stuff like that. The cheat code concept was cool because it didn't hurt anybody, right? It's only hurting you. But when you get in, it just blows my mind that we have gotten to the point where it's like, oh, cheat codes are just a thing now. It's like, oh, he's a hacker. That's the number one thing you hear all the time. I don't know. I think it's just wrong, but I doubt they're gonna do anything about it. Or here's the other thing. All right, here's the counterpoint of that. Say they do start implementing a ban, right? On like the second you start getting caught hacking, well, there goes like 85% of the community there, right? Because 85% of the community is using some kind of hack, like for something, And so it just, you just sit there and you go, all right. And they'll never do that because some CEO sitting in a building going, yeah, no, revenue's great. People are buying the game nonstop. People are buying the game just to be able to get on there and hack. So, again, what do you do? Yeah, I don't know. And it's just frustrating that is like a commonplace thing now. Like, that's what people do. So, I don't know. Um, yeah, so really went down a dark road with hacking and stuff. I'm sorry. See, I told you guys, you go to the dark side, and that's it, man. It's a gateway. We started talking about, going to the dark side with little codes, and here we are talking about hackers and Warzone and the community. So, yeah. No, I agree, man. I mean, it's just commonplace. If you don't run into a hacker, something's wrong with your game, obviously, or you're not online. Yeah, it's like SpongeBob. 4 hours later. Yeah, like it's a 6 hour Twitch of just nothing but complaining about Warzone and cheating. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nobody's playing. It does make me wonder though, like with Warzone and everything like that, that whole battle, because you know, really, you got like PUBG, you got Fortnite, Apex Legend. Everybody's kind of built off that same concept, right? Of that battle royale, everything. How long is that gonna run, right? How many people are gonna make a similar game and keep it going? When you think about it, because is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? I mean, are we gonna be 15 years from now playing Warzone and talking about it? I don't know. I'm curious to see. And then also too, when you think of games, what think of the first game, or I'm trying to think of the way to say this. So you had like Nintendo, right? And you played Mario, and then you had that game on the new system that was like, whoa, games have evolved. Like we have really done it. And I can tell you the first time I felt that way was I had been playing Super Nintendo for years, and then what was it? Medal of Honor 1 came out or something, the one where you're storming the Normandy beach part. And I just remember seeing that and being like, "Oh my god, this is so realistic. This is amazing. This is like the newest craziest thing ever." And then now you look back on it, especially Warzone. I mean, the amount of detail that they go into, even down to like what the person's wearing, is insane. But yeah, and that's what's so crazy though, when you think about it, is like when every generation you have that. But I just feel like we've reached a point with video games where we've kind of plateaued, right? That feeling when you get like PS2, or you get, whatever that new version is, and you see it and you're like, whoa, the graphics are amazing, it looks so realistic, it's like I'm actually there, blah blah blah. I haven't had that in a long time, and I'm thinking back to like PS, ever since basically like Xbox 360 and PlayStation 4 came out. It really hasn't been, from a gaming perspective in the gaming world, like a new anything. So what's the next evolution? Is it VR? Right? I've got one of the Oculus Quest things. They're cool, but I think it's a long way from being mainstream and something that everybody wants to do. But I'm also fascinated because, I mean, truly, in my lifetime, right, I have seen like Atari, right, the little pixel people running around, and then going to something else. Yeah, I'm gonna try to switch at some point from Xbox to PC. I'm just gaming computers are freaking expensive, and I'm an idiot when it comes to that stuff, so I don't even have a clue what the heck I would be looking for. But right now, I'm also curious to see, with the next gen consoles coming out, the Xbox, whatever, the Tower thing, and the PS, whatever it is now, because they're gonna be like basically the same cost of gaming computers. So I don't know. Like, is it worth the money? Is it really a comparable platform? Is that going to transform the gaming industry to something new? Or are we all going to be sitting here and going, whoa, I like that. It's kind of like that Christmas, like at Christmas or something like that, when you have that like childish glee where you're like so excited, you're like, oh my god, it's so amazing. Or like for me, I remember when Fallout 4 came out, right? I had I got late into the Fallout game late, and so I played 3 and I played New Vegas, and I was like, wow, I really like this. I mean, this is amazing. And then it was years until Fallout 4 came out, and so the hype for that game was amazing. I mean, they built it up, and yes, it had a ton of problems and stuff like that, but that like glee I felt was just awesome. So it's like, what's that next step? What's that thing that's out there that you're gonna feel, and what's gonna make you feel that way again as an adult? And so that's what I keep looking for. And sometimes you get it a little bit. With certain games, you're like, wow, this is really cool. This is really fun, or oh, that's a unique twist on this. But I'm starting to feel sometimes too in gaming that basically somebody comes up with an idea, it's mildly successful, and then somebody like repaints it and calls it a different name, and then tosses it out there, and somehow their version is more successful. You know, yeah, Ready Player One, indeed. Yeah. Can you imagine though? I mean, truly, can you imagine? That is such a good movie. I mean, on so many different levels too. Not just because the whole concept of it is amazing and awesome, but the references in that movie are just. I'm curious how they got away with all those references. They must have paid so much money to people to be able to use those. I mean, you had everything. Back to the Future, Ninja. I mean, every pop culture reference you can think of is in that movie. I mean, yeah, the nostalgia was crazy. I was sitting there, I was tearing up at like 6 or 7 times in that movie just because it was like, hey man, here's your childhood. Boom! And it was crazy. I mean, that was such a good movie. It really was. I wish they would take that concept and the technology that they use and apply it to those kind of movies and make more things, like instead of another example, the Michael Bay Transformers stuff. All right, yeah, some of them are okay. Honestly, some of them are just absolute garbage, dumpster fires. If you could take all of the cool nostalgia that we all know and love and use the concepts and things from like Ready Player One, and I know, again, it's like the Tupac holograms and all the other stuff too. But an argument could be, dude, people who are gone and who are dead, you could still have starring in movies. You know what I mean? Like you could have a movie with Elvis in it because of Ready Player One technology. So again, I get it, and some of it is like intellectual property slash you're taking advantage of a dead person. I do get that. I understand it, and it would need to be respectful. But how cool would it be to have like somebody who's been dead for years come back and be in a feature length movie about something? I mean, you could just, the possibilities there are endless. Yeah, I agree. And I think to your point, I think immersion's the next step. I think that's the next evolution of gaming. Is and it does bring the question though of how. Yeah, here's the question though, right? So we get Ready Player One technology and we're going that route, right? And so we've all got these power suits on where we feel everything and stuff like that. I'm telling you right now, Warzone would be a hell of a lot more serious of a venture, and there'd be a hell of a lot more hackers in it. If every time you got shot in the face, you felt like you got punched in the face, or every time you got beat up with the sticks. Yeah, I mean, people would really think twice about playing that game, because, but oh my God, the content would be hilarious. Can you imagine? Like, you get people on there, and they're just, can you imagine there be YouTube videos everywhere, people just getting the crap beat out of them, and so, yeah, I think that would be great. I saw this ad, how Facebook and everything listens, so it was for this like gaming vest thing that you put on. It was haptic impulse control, so you could feel the action, as it progressed or whatever. And so I was just sitting there, and the first thing I thought about was Ready Player One. That would be insane, and To your point though, I really do truthfully think that that's the next evolution of gaming. It's just how do we get there? And then the other thing is too, you know, for every new technology, it's like putting a man on the moon. You have to screw it up like really bad first. So you'd have people with these gaming suits getting like electrocuted, or like somebody would be trying to drink Mountain Dew at the same time and just like zap the hell out of themselves, or you know, they'd find they'd find out 5 years later. Did you purchase the haptic suit 5,000? Well, you may be entitled to compensation because, you know, we Doctor So and So from the doctors, you know, Doctor Oz said that haptic suits cause cancer or something like that. You know, so it would be a whole process to get to the point where it would be really fun. But to that point, though, I think that would be awesome. I think that would be really cool and enjoyable. But yeah, I think so. So what are you guys? Well, I've got you guys. What games are you playing right now? What are you guys currently working on? Or is there anything you want me to give you a shout out on? Because that would be, I can do that too. Yeah, yeah. You'd storm the beaches, but here's the thing, right? This is how it always works. It's not the guy, and I saw this overseas too, would be the guy who is like always, you know, he's like Captain America stateside, and he's just over there like, oh, I'm gonna go over there, I'm gonna punch Hitler in the face, and I'm gonna be so brave and all this other stuff. That's the dude who's like crying in the corner, and it's the guy who's like just the most mild mannered, quiet dude that ends up being just freaking Captain America, like doing ninja backflips, you know, and stuff like that. So all of us would get on there and be ready to rock and roll, and we'd be the guy, you know, somebody has to be the guy that gets shot getting out of the boat. And so I can guarantee you I'm the guy who gets shot getting out of the boat. Like we're not even on the beach yet. I'm just like that random dude. Like the other guy, you know, the German dude's up on the top over there, and he's like, hey, watch this. I bet you I can hit that guy. And they're like, no, I can't hit that guy. I'm like, yeah, I can hit that guy. So, and then next thing you know, there's me, just caption. And that's it. Game over. That's how it works, man. But yeah. Yeah. I haven't heard of Rogue Company. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I've been trying to grind Call of Duty multiplayer. I'm trying to. I suck. I mean, I'm average, but I'm trying to get the. Yeah, I'm trying to get the Damascus stuff, but I'll tell you, there's certain guns in there that are really hard to use, like the crossbow and what is it, MK2? It's the lever action one, and then right now the last one I've got to do is the AX50, which from a distance is not too bad in multiplayer. Warzone is garbage. I mean, there's not even a point for using it, but trying to use the AX50 in a multiplayer match where people are running around, especially on something like Rust or what do you call it? What's the other one? Shipment or something like that, is insane because it has like a 30-second reload for every single round. It's insane. But yeah. So you fished a dude out of the what? I mean, was he? I mean, was he alive, or was it like a frozen dude? What do you do for work? Yeah, please enlighten us on what. You got to tell us more of that story, dude. So you saved him. Okay, well that's a positive. What do you? I mean, what are you, an ice lifeguard? Dude, you're the man. Ah, I got you. Okay. Dang, man, that's some rough stuff. Yeah, definitely not a part of the job description. And you better get some bonus pay. You know, when it comes time for bonus evaluation, be like, yeah, I saved a guy. Definitely needs to go on there. That's awesome, man. How did he? I mean, did the ice just give way, or did he like slip, or what? There's always at least one dude. Always. That's been my experience. So I got a funny. Well, I guess it's funny. I don't know, but in that the vein of that, so I used to be in the army, and we were um, overseas, and we were in Iraq, and so we were near Baghdad at the time, and we were going into like houses, right? Like entering and clearing houses, and so we had this one guy. We'll call him C. C went in, and he was at this basement. You know, he was looking in this basement area, and so he goes to step down, and what he thought was the floor was actually about 4 feet of sewage. So it was literally like the sewage pipe or something had broken in the bottom of this house and just been steadily pumping like crap and crap water into this, and it had left a crust on the top that looked like a floor. So he takes a full on, and you know how it goes. If you're about to take a step and you think it's solid ground and then it turns out not to be. So anyway, long story short, dude goes in and literally over his head in raw sewage. And I mean like black tar raw sewage. Uniform, everything soaked completely. It looked like a comic or like a comedy movie, you know, when they like get tarred and feathered. So he comes out of this house literally like a black monster covered in crap. And we're all just sitting there like, you know, you're like in horror because it's like, dude, you smell so bad, and what do we do with you? And so we had to like we basically were like trying to water bottle him, you know, and wash him off, which it didn't work. And so we made him ride. We were in these vehicles called Strikers, and so we basically just like made him sit on the top of it the whole way back, and then we had to get like a industrial water hose and hose him off. But like it looked like the creature from the Black Lagoon or something. Like he was literally 110% coated and soaked with shit. Like had to throw everything he had. His boots, his uniform, everything he wore had to be thrown away. It was vile, you know. And I don't know if you've ever like dealt with raw sewage that's been sitting for a while, but that smell you will never forget. And so it was oh man, I mean it was funny, but that poor bastard. Because God, that was, oh yeah, that was some nasty stuff. But yeah, it made me think. The guy going in the ice made me think about that. But yeah, yeah, it was really nasty. I got all kinds of crazy stories about that kind of stuff. But all right, guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and a month would not. Well, I'll tell you the positive of that story was that the whole country kind of smells the same as what he smelled like, only he was like a concentrated air freshener version of it. So he blended in quite well to his environment. It just, oh, it was, oh, that's so bad. It was so bad. But anyway, all right, guys. Hey, guys, I really appreciate you hitting up the channel, tuning in and chatting and everything. Definitely want to try to make this, if not an everyday thing, as much as possible during the week. Just kind of get together and chat, you know, shoot the shit, help each other out and stuff like that. So again, I'll try to hit up all your guys' channels, give you some views and everything like that. Hope you guys have a great day. Good luck fishing more. Hopefully nobody else goes in the ice, and you don't have to worry about that. But if not, make sure you mark it down every time and then put it on the resume. Because yeah, that'll pay off in the long run. But again, everybody take care. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've really enjoyed chatting with you. I'll hit you up on Twitter and on your pages, and have a great day.